Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I am doing a full face of my most expensive makeup. I'm not sure who started this, but I've seen quite a lot of people doing this recently and I thought it looks like good fun. And I'm not going to lie, I had a few drinks last night and I feel a little bit delicate today, so I needed quite a lot of stuff on my face to make me look a little bit better than I'm feeling right now. So I've got all my most expensive makeup on my face, and the total amount all the products come to is just over £400. So not all of the makeup is high-end. Some products I don't have high-end products for. So anyway, I shall stop rambling now. So if you'd like to see what products I got on my face and what I thought of them all, then just keep on watching. So I'm going to do my eyes first because I know I sometimes do get a bit of fallout from the eyeshadow products I'm going to use. So first I'm going to prime my eyes using my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. If you've watched my videos before, you'll have seen this a million and one times probably. This one is £17, so it is a bit pricey, but by no means the most expensive eyeshadow primer in the world. I think it's great. Worth the money, definitely, in my opinion. It just works really well for me. So the most expensive eyeshadow palette I own is this, which is the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. I never know if it's Huda or Huda. But anyway, I'm going to take a bit of this shade here just to set my primer. I do like this palette. I get a fair amount of use out of it. It was £56 though, which in my opinion is quite overpriced for an eyeshadow palette. Next I'm going to take this shade here, Sandalwood, and use that as my transition colour. I do like the mattes in this palette. I think they're pigmented and blend quite nicely. Not the best mattes I've ever used, but I get on with them fine. I will say I don't love the kind of textured shimmery shadows as much. Like, I feel like they're really overhyped. I wouldn't say I regret buying this palette, but you know, for £56 I was kind of hoping for something a little bit more, I think. And just take a little bit of that shade on the outer corner of my lid. Next I think I'm going to take a bit of the colour Suede and pop that in my crease as well. This is kind of my least used matte colour in the palette, I think. I kind of never really know how to make it work, so we're going to give it another go today. And just taking a little bit of that colour on the outer corner of my eye as well. Next I'm going to take the colour Cocoa and just put that right in the outer part of my crease as well. I was really umming and ahhing about whether to get the new palette from Huda Beauty, the Desert Dust one, and I didn't go for it in the end. I think if it had been a bit cheaper I probably definitely would have gone for it. I mean, the colours looked gorgeous, but you know, like £56 for a palette is a lot of money. So for my lid, I'm not going to use anything from that palette. I'm going to use this, which is the Stila Magnificent Metals, the Glisten and Glow liquid eyeshadows. This colour is Kitten Karma, and these are £23 each, which for a single colour, yes, is very expensive. But I do find, well, I've never tried anything that's quite as intense and glittery as this before. So I mean, they are quite pricey, but I kind of think it's justified for the payoff that you get. I mean, that's some pretty intense glitter I've got going on my eyelid now. So next I'm going to do some liner using this, which is the Sigma Line Ace. This isn't actually that expensive. I don't really have a proper high-end liquid liner. I can't find this that easily available in the UK at the moment, but there were a couple of websites where it's on for £11, so not super cheap, but not massively expensive either. I cannot talk and do liner at the same time. This one's kind of running out a little bit now. I'm not sure if I would repurchase this. It's not bad, it's nice and black, but it does crack a little bit. So I reckon I could probably find a better one. So that's my liner on. I did have to finish this eye off with my e.l.f. liquid liner because the Sigma one ran out halfway through me using it. So anyway, I'm going to move on to my face now and come back to my eyes in a little bit. For primer, I'm using my Becca First Light priming filter, which is £32, so yeah, quite a pricey primer. Usually I just use this kind of on my cheeks. When I first bought this, my skin tended to be a lot drier, but I've been kind of putting more time and effort into my skincare recently. So I don't really feel I need it as much as I did when I first bought it, but it is still a nice primer. It's probably not going to do much good for me in my T-zone where I need a bit of kind of pore filling action, but we will make do for today. If you have dull or dry skin, I would definitely recommend this though, because it does certainly give your skin a bit of a boost and a glow. Now I'm going to go in with some colour corrector. This one is from Nip and Fab. I don't really have a high-end colour corrector. This one I think is about £8.95 and it's the most expensive one I own. And to be completely honest, it's the one I reach for the least, so we'll see how this goes. I've also got these cute little sponges that I got in a Birch box. They're from Eco Tools, and they're all different colours to match different colour correctors, so I thought I'd try this out as well in this video. Tell you what, I think I prefer this product applied with a little sponge, and I quite like this sponge. It's really soft and doesn't shear the colour out too much. I kind of tend to find that I use brushes for my face products because I like to keep as much coverage as possible, but I don't feel like this is shearing things out too much. Now for foundation, I'm using my Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. I did a whole video on this recently if you want to know my full thoughts on it, but I haven't used it a whole lot since that video, probably because it's quite expensive and I kind of want to save it for special occasions. I think I paid about £42 for this, so it's definitely kind of up there in price, but from the times I have used it, it is a really lovely foundation. So if you have a few pennies to spare, then it is definitely something worth trying. I'm quite interested to see if this is going to settle into my pores, as I don't have a pore filling primer on, which I normally always wear in my T-zone. So we'll see how this goes. I think this is probably going to be the foundation I wear when I get married next year, just because it has kind of really lovely coverage without looking too fake, and yeah, it just kind of looks natural but makes your skin look pretty flawless. I feel like it's a little bit light for me at the moment. I have been on holiday recently and got a little bit of a tan, so I'm probably going to have to bronze myself up a little bit. So yeah, that is one product that is on the more expensive side, but I personally think is worth the price tag. Now for concealer, the most expensive concealer I own is the Tarte Shape Tape, and I am sure all of you will have heard of this before. I loved it to begin with, and I still do like it. It's got really good coverage, but I am finding it a little bit heavy under my eyes now. So I do tend to use I've been using the e.l.f. concealer recently under my eyes. It's just a bit lighter and doesn't crease up as much. A lot of people say that this concealer doesn't crease on them, but I find it does crease on me. So we'll have to see if we can stop that happening today. I'm going in with another one of these little Eco Tools sponges to see if that makes any difference. And this concealer is £22. I can't remember if I said that or not. Yeah, I'm still finding this a bit too heavy for under my eyes, but I do still love this concealer. I find it really good for kind of covering blemishes because it is so full coverage. And sometimes if I don't feel like wearing foundation, I just put a bit on my cheeks where my rosacea is, and just wear the concealer on its own. So I really like it for that. So I definitely will still repurchase this concealer when I've run it out, just not for use under my eyes anymore. Now I am going to bake under my eyes to try and prevent the creasing that is happening already. I'm using the RCMA No Colour Powder. This by no means is an expensive product either. I think I paid about £13 for it from Beauty Bay, but I don't have any real high-end powders, so this is the most expensive one that I currently own. One thing I do hate about this powder though is the packaging. It's so messy and difficult to use. I'm also going to take a little bit of this powder over the rest of my face. I don't usually use this one all over my face, but as we're just using my most expensive products today, that is what I'm going to use. My foundation's not sunk into my pores yet, so that is a good thing. So next I'm going to go in with contour. My most expensive one is the Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder. I have to be honest, I don't reach for this that often. I got the shade light. I'm kind of thinking I should have got medium because I don't feel like it makes that much difference on my skin, and people rave about this, so I'm thinking it probably is just me not getting the right colour, because like I've put some on there and I don't feel like I feel any more sculpted as such. You can see it a tiny bit, but it's so subtle. Don't get me wrong, I'm not one for a really strong contour, but yeah, I just think this is a little bit too light for me, unfortunately. And I have got into cream contouring much more than powder contouring recently anyway. I'm quite liking it on my jawline at the moment though. Maybe I need to give this another chance. So my most expensive bronzer is the Benefit Hoola bronzer, which is £24.50. I got this reasonably recently and I have to say I really like it. I've been using it loads. It's become my go-to bronzer. I just think it's a really nice colour to warm your face up, and it's got just about the right level of pigment, so it's not too crazy that you're going to make yourself look like a clown, but it doesn't take too much building up. So yeah, even though this one's a bit expensive, I would recommend it. So my most expensive blusher is this one from Tarte. This is the Amazonian Clay 12 hour blush in Risque, and I use this one a lot. You may have seen it in my videos before. It's just a really nice kind of nudie pink blush. I'm not the biggest blush person in the world, to be honest. I mean, I have so much redness on my face anyway. I quite often find I don't really want to add any more back in, but this one's kind of a nice natural neutral colour that doesn't make me feel too much like a tomato, which I sometimes do. And this is £25. I can't remember if I just said that or not. Now let's brush away my bake. I think that's been on there long enough now. Now let's go in with some highlight. This is the Tarte Amazonian Clay highlighter in the shade Exposed, and like the blush, this is £25. But I do love this highlight. It's quite an intense one, so if you like really subtle highlights, then perhaps not for you. But it is quite buildable, so you can kind of, I can leave it like that, which I'm probably going to do for today. Or you can really build it up into a really blinding highlighter For me, this is £25 well spent. Now going back in with my lower lash line, I'm going to take a bit of the colour Sandalwood and just run that all the way along my lower lash line. I'm also going to take a tiny little bit of the colour Cocoa and put that on the outer corner of my lower lash line. Or the outer half. Now for mascara, I have two mascaras that are the same price. It's the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes, which I have a little sample of, and the Tarte Man Eater mascara. A lot of these products are Tarte. I seem to have a bit of a thing for them. So today I think I'm going to use the Man Eater one. And this is kind of a very volumizing mascara. I do find it can be a little bit clumpy at times, but if you are careful whilst applying it, it is a really nice mascara. I can't remember if I said, but these mascaras are £24 each. Now moving on to brows, I don't really have many high-end brow products either. The most expensive one I do have is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, which I think is around a tenner. So pretty affordable really, and I love this brow pencil if it will wind up out of its tube. This is kind of my everyday brow pencil. Generally with this kind of look, I've got quite a full-on eye. I would use a pomade, but my pomade is from Freedom and it's only a £5, so I couldn't use it in this video. But I just find this one has a really kind of precise point to the tip, and it's a nice formula to kind of fill in the brows without them looking too fake or kind of intense, and yeah, I just really like it. Now for brow gel, the most expensive one I have is the Ico Brow Gel. I think it's around £18. I got this quite a while ago in the sale and it's become kind of my everyday go-to. I do really like it. I do have to be a little bit careful with it because it is quite tinted. I'm not sure how well this would work on someone with lighter brows. But yeah, I find it holds my brows in place really nicely and adds a bit of texture back into them, and I've just wiped it all over my forehead. So on to the final step, which is my lips. The most expensive one I own is this Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. This is the colour Kidman's Kiss, which is a nice pinky colour, and I think these are £24, so they are pretty pricey. I've loved this colour throughout the summer. I think it's a really nice kind of spring summery colour. Perhaps not so much for autumn and winter, but hey, who cares? My lips are quite dry at the moment, so it's not looking the best on because it's a pretty matte lipstick, but it's a really nice smooth formula and the lasting time is pretty good for a lipstick as well. So that is my face all done. On the whole, I do quite like this look, and majority of the products I don't regret spending the money on. There are a few there that are I'm a bit iffy about, but on the whole I like them. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your most expensive makeup is, and maybe leave me some recommendations of other expensive makeup you think I should try out, because I'm always looking for new stuff to try. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and maybe even subscribe if you'd like to see what else I have coming up. Thanks for watching everyone. Bye!